Trump administration evicts former Coast Guard leader from her house with 3 hours' notice. NBC News. The Trump administration evicted former Coast Guard Commandant Linda Fagan from her home with 3 hours of notice on Tuesday. Below are your comments. The article said she was only given a 3-hour notice and the government official did not confirm nor deny the 3-hour notice, although she had been terminated 2 weeks ago. Coast Guard leaders had given Fagan a 60-day waiver to find new housing, according to one of the. But on Tuesday, see more. So they gave her 60 days to move, then forcibly removed her after 2 weeks. That is a lesson to those who accept the buyout offer. They are going to be paid until September. Unless Trump changes his mind after 2 weeks. I was in the Coast Guard during Carter, Reagan, but at a much lower rank of lieutenant. In those days USCG was under the Department of Transportation with duties in water safety, navigation, regulation of ship traffic, shoreline restoration, and policing of civilian boating. Our housing was semi-permanent, but even under emergency conditions like weather-related disasters or ship collisions, toxic spills where a team had to be transferred to new work, I never heard of an officer being evicted on 3 hours' notice. Especially, in this case, there is no cause for firing the admiral. President Trump needs to be called to account for his pejorative actions. The distinguished service of the admiral deserves respect, which, as we learned in kindergarten, is earned, like she has done. Apparently, he went to a different elementary school and was taught very different values. To clarify the article, she was given notice 14 days ago that she had 60 days to find a new home. Then they forced her out 46 days early with 3-hour notice. State laws can vary, but most require notice before eviction, so early forced removal is completely unlawful. She can easily win a lawsuit with this. P.S. People need to learn the Fifth Amendment. Trump is using the presidential power for political and personal reasons. Executive orders are being used violating current law. Private citizens are being given power to view private information of the government. Is that what Mr. MAGA wanted when they hired Trump? Mr. Trump is going to be impeached again someday. It will probably be after the next elections in 2 years. I don't recall there being a place in the Constitution saying a sitting president cannot be tried again for crimes he escaped being convicted earlier. Jan 6 is still on the table in 2 years. Wow. So this is how Republicans treat distinguished service members now? They don't respect the Constitution as they're actively ripping it apart. They don't respect the rule of law as they are deliberately and systematically breaking every law EY can think of. And they don't. What has this country come to? I fear there may be no coming back from this. The person or people that ordered and/or did the removal violated several military law under Section 10 of the UMC, removal of a ranking officer that has not been convicted of violating standards. The officers that prefer the removal can be punished in fines and other penalties. From all accounts, she's been a good officer and as well educated. I heard her speak in 2023 and she was phenomenal. Admiral Fagan makes me proud to be an American and she did not deserve this. One interesting note, Trump is following the Project 2025 manifesto, which he'd claimed he knew nothing about. One of his top administration officials is a guy named Vought, who was one of the authors of P2025. Vought has openly and publicly said that one of their objectives is to be as vicious as possible and to inflict as much suffering upon employees of the federal government as possible in the hope that they will simply quit. So my guess is that this isn't just Trump being in. He's doing stuff like this on purpose to demoralize the various officials and officers of the government, military included. Who gets to evict the person causing all this chaos? The big I word is already in the air, but no one is brave enough to make the recommendation. Hear this, people who voted for your lawmakers and reps, the people in office do not care at all. This country is heading to ruins or back to dinosaur age. The scam is back from where it left off and off to a fast pace. Start making up for lost time. Are we waiting for our deserved paychecks we paid taxes on to be reduced or taken before proper steps to restore democracy back in this country? Calling all bleep people to display your talent. Let the people rise to the occasion. The people declares to get their power back, take the rule from the authoritarians and the muted politicians who forgot why they were voted in the first place. Coast Guard leaders had given Fagan a 60-day waiver to find new housing, according to one of the Sioux. RCES 00. But on Tuesday, Homeland Security officials told the acting commandant, Kevin Lunday, that he had to kick her out because the president wants her out of quarters. Amazing how absolutely nobody in the administration or the GOP has a spine. P.S. Since most of the Mozzies are just. But thanks for showing how easily triggered Trumpers are. Trump is vindictive and petty. He's trying to send a message that wokeism will not be tolerated and any sign of it will be treated harshly. This is called authoritarianism. Her record is spotless, which could never be said for Trump. Prediction: the woke folks will not disappear. As a matter of fact, after Trump's antics become more and more authoritarian, people will turn against him, except his cult. Things are going to get interesting. I hate to think this, but eventually Trump is going to strong-arm the wrong person. There are many ways to get your point across, but Trump always takes the one that's the most abrasive. He is making more people despise him on a daily basis. There have been 2 attempts on his life already, and the next could come from one of these people. There is something uniquely brutal and vicious about the Trump administration. They treat people with contempt and scorn. They dehumanize anyone who doesn't align with their agenda. They treat immigrants, even the legal ones, with disrespect. If America is all about intolerance, hate and disrespect to who are different, then it is not a country that You can blame the SCOTUS for telling General Bonespurs that he has full immunity to do as he pleases. This is only going to get worse. It's hard to believe that all these stunts are legal. The Dems need to file lawsuits Trump style. I mean every minute of every day. This is the GOP that is pro-law enforcement and pro-military? I believe Trump is trying to start a civil war so he can declare martial law. In case anyone was misinformed otherwise, but Trump does not care about our vets or service members. This is a horrific example, but hundreds of thousands of vets work in the federal civil service and they're all terrified. Trump should have had the grace to allow her the 60 days, and during that time, he should have concentrated his efforts on relieving the American people of the excessive inflation burden we're all experiencing at the grocery store, or trying to pay rent and mortgages, not to. I could keep going. What a shame. This is how the USA treats its soldiers who have devoted their lives to protecting us all, willing to give their life in that duty? This is how we make America great again? I do not think so. To throw someone out of a residence without adequate time to remove their belongings is totally unjustified. If President Trump was truly behind this, and I have no doubt that's the case, it's just another sauce of that petty, small criminal showing his true nature. If it wasn't Trump, it was some other petty person kissing up to Trump. She was removed because inclusion. So she was a non-qualified multi-star admiral. Is that what they are saying? A multi-star admiral who was only hired because she was a woman. That's what they want me to believe. And that's the reason they fired her. So discrimination is legal now, I guess. Like we already knew after this last week. Time to put a stop to this. Even people who cannot see, can see where this is headed. Without our military, these plans have no way of working to his goal. Our military is pledged to the Constitution only and no ordinary man. Thumbs up, open mouth, face blue heart. Admiral Fagan's treatment from President 47F Musk makes her a national hero and martyr. Long-term memories are being built at this moment of the Republican leadership, and it doesn't look good. Hundreds of people throw out of jobs, no lower prices, food getting harder to find, interest rates not going down, fewer jobs for people, housing is getting harder to afford, and our friends turning away from us, fewer counties wanting our products. What is these crazy elderly? Now he wants to take over another country and create Trumpastine. So with reckless abandonment, Trump and Musk are not only firing women, gays, and admirals, but much all other ordinary people working for the government without any compassion and human decency. Why? This is who almost 50% of Americans voted for. This seems like a pretty disgraceful way to treat a long-standing and distinguished service member. He loves and respects our military personnel, except when he doesn't. He loves the men and women in blue except when he doesn't. No offense to anyone here, but if you're in the military, you cannot just be evicted from your home. Orders need to be assigned and processed. This was deliberate and personal if anyone who's ever moved before while serving in the military. Trump is lucky he can't be sued as president because he would lose this in court if it were anyone else. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you like it, please thumbs up.